sun's coming out today. Staying in is gonna find another way. Yeah. As I sit here in this misery, you know, I don't think I'll ever know, Lord, see the sun from here, not from here. And oh, as I fade away, some people will say, yeah, they'll look at me and they'll say, hey, look at him, I'll never live that way. But that's okay, they're just afraid to change. When you feel life ain't worth living, you gotta step back and take a look around. Then you look up way to the sky. Now, yeah. And when your deepest thoughts are broken, yeah, you gotta keep dreaming, boy. When you stop, it's time to die. And I don't wanna die.
Hi, how's everybody doing today? So here I am in Dayton, Indiana. I keep thinking I'm going to say Dayton, Ohio, but it's Dayton, Indiana. This is a really small town. Like, I'm talking blink and you'll miss it, and it's beautiful. It's such a cool little small town. It's almost just one street and a few streets going off each way. And I drove into town, and I drove right, as soon as I drove like a couple of miles, hit the cemetery right here. And I'm not even sure if this is the cemetery I'm supposed to be in, but I'm assuming it is. I was going to end the video here, but since I'm here now, I was going to go in order and talk about Shannon Hoon, lead singer of Blind Melon, one of my favorite musicians, and from a great band. In his short life, they released 2 albums, self-titled Blind Melon and Soup, and both are amazing albums. They were right around the same time as the grunge era was taking off, but they had more of a classic 70s rock band sound, a little bit different and bluesy, not as hard as the grunge bands at the time. But yes, Shannon Hoon is buried here. I'll talk more about his life, but right now we're gonna find his grave. I just know it's around here somewhere. And I'm assuming that, I mean, this is the only small, I would assume this is the only cemetery in this small town. And so I know that he's buried somewhere near the back here. And I'm gonna try and find Shannon Hoon and show you his final resting place, and show you a few other things connected to Shannon in this town and others. And I believe I'm here already. I am. I know we can't all stay here forever, so I want to write my words on the face of today and they'll paint it. That's from the song Change, which is actually my favorite Blind Melon song. It's the first song, one of the first songs he wrote. And I know that when he met the rest of the band in Los Angeles, they had heard him play that acoustically at, I think, at a party. And that's when they decided to form the band. Very, very distinct voice Shannon Hoon had. He took the name, his name is Richard Shannon Hoon, but his father is also Richard Hoon, so he dropped the Richard early on in life because it was too confusing, and he went by the name Shannon. If you're ever in Dayton, just come in through that archway that I showed you at the beginning. Drive right to the back. Park right about where I am. And it's a short walk over. you can see, people come out and leave things. There's some lighters there, a lot of lighters. Actually, guitar picks, some candles, flowers. So it was raining, ironically, all this morning, but the sun did come out today. Found a way. And if you don't know Blind Melon, you definitely know their biggest hit, No Rain. You know that opening guitar sound. You know that. Everybody knows No Rain, and then the video with B-Girl. That's what really catapulted Blind Melon to superstardom. They were more than a one-hit wonder, though. They had another hit, Galaxy from the second album, Soup, was a minor hit. Change was a hit at the time, bigger now. But also their second album, Soup, is known as one of the greatest rock albums of the 90s. And it wasn't at the time. It was met with mixed reviews because it's kind of a different sound than the first album. And it's a great album. Both are amazing. I love both. They define the 90s for me, those two albums. But something about Soup that really defines the 90s because it was just so out there. Kind of like what, and a little different, and great tracks, Lemonade. Lemonade, if you're a Blind Melon fan, you know that song. Yeah, what was I going to say about Soup? I was going to say something else about the album Soup. I just love it so much. Kind of like when Radiohead did OK Computer out of nowhere. Different sound. Can't tell everybody back, but you know, people freaked out over OK Computer. But I'm saying Blind Melon did sort of the same thing. Kind of went on a different path for their second album. Like I said, mixed reviews at the time, now known as a classic. Okay, so I'm going to take you into Lafayette now, which is a bigger town nearby, and that's where Shannon grew up here in Dayton and Lafayette. They're right beside each other. I'll show you his high school and the street he grew up on. I know that he split time with his mother and father, I believe, and his mother was here, his mother Nell, in Dayton, and his father in Lafayette. And I know the street that he lived on in Lafayette, I'm pretty sure. And the church I was showing you there, I stopped by because I was wondering maybe where his funeral was, but I was talking to a lady who worked there, and she actually taught Shannon Hoon's daughter, Nico Blue, in Lafayette, back when she was in school. So that was really cool. She was really sweet. And a woman at the gas station here I was talking to, and she knew Shannon growing up, said he was a wild child and sweet as hell. And that's the image that he gave off to, I think, everybody. Everybody loved Shannon Hoon back in the 90s. And it was devastating when he died for a lot of music fans. Because he just looks like such a nice, sweet guy, and his music and his voice was just incredible. One of the most unique voices in rock ever. All right, let's drive over to Lafayette.
The Rolling Stones, it was fun. You know, we got to do some shows with the Stones, and we did a tour. We toured with Neil Young, and that was a good tour. You know, anybody, to tour with veterans, you can only hope to have that much enthusiasm for that long. You know, and that's one thing I think you see Mick Jagger's, around 115 years old, jumping around on a stage, and I couldn't cover that kind of ground.
Yes, you can. You have more faith in me. You have children to bring up now.
So I made it to Lafayette, Indiana, which is right beside Dayton, where I just was. And this is the high school that Shannon Hoon went to. Right here. Yeah, Kuchian High School in Lafayette. And according to what I've read about him, he was quite the athlete in school. And very popular from what the lady at the gas station was telling me, who grew up right nearby him. She had a lot to add, so thank you. I never got her name, which I usually like to do. I'm sorry I didn't. So I'm gonna go to this street now where I know that his father lived here back in the 80s. And Shannon, I guess, stayed at his mother's and his father's, but it makes more sense that if he was going to this high school, he was here somewhere on the street more often than he would be in Dayton. But it's not that far a drive, really. It's 10-15 minutes. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you about the rest of Shannon's life when we get there. Okay, let's go. It's ironic that it was pouring so heavily this morning and I was hoping for no rain. And that's the name, like I said before, their most popular, most well-known song. It was just so heavy this morning, the rain, and I didn't think the sun was coming out today, like I said before. Thought it was staying in, but it found another way. Certainly did. And I don't understand why I sleep all day and I start to complain when there's no rain. So this is Crouse Street in Lafayette. And I've been told this is the street that Shannon grew up on. Now I have no clue what house it is, so I don't, been trying to find out. And well, you know, I should have done a little more research in my hotel room this morning, but I didn't think about it till afterwards. I didn't think about his house here. I was searching too much for his house in Dayton. Anyway, but it was up that street, because there's no real houses on this part, but there's less traffic. It's a busy little street, but yeah, there's some older houses. So one of those houses where Shannon Hoon's father apparently lived, and where he spent his time, his childhood and teen years. Now, Axl Rose is also from this town. And just before Blind Melon hit big, if you're a Guns N' Roses fan, you saw or just a music fan, you saw the video for Don't Cry. And Shannon Hoon is singing backup on that song and on The Garden, I believe. Also from Use Your Illusion, Use It Volume 1 or 2. Yeah, those two songs. So Shannon's sister, I believe, knew Axl from this town. They went to high school together. So she said, well, in Hollywood, look up Axl Rose. So he did, and he ended up singing along with the group. And then Blind Melon took off. after that. But not because of their Guns N' Roses connection, but actually a lot of people were like, who is that guy? Like, they thought it was a new member of Guns N' Roses. I remember thinking that too. Then all of a sudden we saw him in the video for No Rain. We're like, that's the guy from Guns N' Roses video. It was all very strange at the time, I remember that. I also had the big poster. I was a big fan, the Rolling Stone cover where the band is naked on the cover. I had a huge poster of it, like an art seal. It's thick and it's behind glass. That was up on my wall for years. I still have it. I'm gonna put it back up because that's a great album, not album cover, great magazine cover. And that was when they graced the cover of Rolling Stone, which is what every artist wants to do at some point. Sadly, Shannon died of a cocaine overdose. I think it was in Louisiana. He was being called for a sound check in the afternoon one day in October of '95, and the tour manager, sound guy, I think it was a tour manager, went to the tour bus to get him, and they couldn't revive him. So he was plagued by demons. And yeah, the drug overdose got him in the end, cocaine. It was a terrible, terrible loss. So having said that about Axl Rose, I'm gonna show you where Axl Rose grew up here in Lafayette. I can show you his house, because I know exactly where it is. So we're gonna go there, and I'll end the video there. Alright, so here I am at the end of the video, standing in front of Axl Rose's house. I'll show you that right now. Yeah, so it looks like him and Shannon became quite good friends. And after Axl Rose, I would say Shannon Hoon's the most famous alumni of this area of Indiana. Check out some of Shannon's music. You'll be very, very happy that you did. So that's Axl Rose's house right there. That's where he grew up. Grew up as William Rose, and then his mother married someone with the last name of Bailey, then it became William Bailey. And soon the transformation to Axl Rose began. All right, so that's it from Lafayette, Indiana, and Dayton, Indiana. Hometown of Shannon Hoon. Axl Rose's house just right over there. Okay. I hope I told you everything you need to know about Shannon Hoon. If you didn't know him before, check out some Blind Melon music. And if you know the band, write something in the comments, whatever you want to say about the band, if they're one of your favorites. It'd be good to hear. Okay. Oh, and if people write in the comments that he was just another junkie, I don't know what difference does it make, because I've seen that on some of the other videos I made about other artists. Well, he was somebody's son and he was somebody's father, and if you're lucky enough not to have had an addiction yourself or to know someone with an addiction, well, God bless. You're very, very, very lucky and very, very rare. Empathy. Peace out. I love you all.
And I don't understand why